What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I figured since we just got so many new attack weighted shadow Pokemon in the recent Team Rocket event that I just had to bring back the Glass Cannon Roulette. And for those of you that haven't seen the first one, it's probably my craziest video ever, so definitely go check that out right after you finish watching this. But instead of 25 Glass Cannons, this time I had 30 to choose from, including many of the new shadow Pokemon. But in order to guarantee all 30 Pokemon would feature, after drawing each team I removed those Pokemon from the wheel, so there will be a total of 10 different teams featured in this video. Last time I did this challenge, the Great League Remix Cup was available, which was perfect because the Open Great League would have absolutely destroyed the majority of these teams. This time there's no Remix Cup available, so instead I decided to mix it up and battle against my subscribers, but I asked them to bring some super spicy Pokemon to make the battles a little bit more fair, and the battles were absolutely insane. These are certainly going to be the craziest battles you've ever seen in PvP, and if not, then you're just lying to yourself. But with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. If you had the opportunity to battle against your favorite PvP YouTuber, which team would you be bringing to the battle? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so we're going to spin the wheel for the first time here in this video, and the first Pokemon is going to be Archon, and I didn't realize this until the end of the battles that I actually forgot to include its evolution Archeops. It doesn't really matter since it's a very similar Pokemon, but the second Pokemon is going to be Shadow Gengar. We've seen it very recently in a few of my videos, and the third Pokemon is going to be Shadow Mewtwo. So let's get into the first battle, and some incredible spice from the first opponent as we do lead into a Fearow. Fearow, I believe, is running Peck, which is not a very good fast move, especially since we do resist it. With the Archon, we go for Crunch that does big damage. We take them out before they even make it to a charge move, and then they come in with a Dodrio, and this is insane. We're going to go for a Dragon Claw bait, grabbing a shield, and then I'm going to swap. I think they could Feint Attack, farm me all the way down. Unfortunately, we've got two Pokemon in the back that are very weak to Feint Attack, and Gengar is very weak to normal type Pokemon in general because we've got a triple Ghost moveset, but luckily the opponent lets it go down, but they've got a Dodrio in the back, an XL level 50 best buddy boosted Dodrio. We got the final shield, but it's not looking too good for us. I don't think we will make it to a charge move on the Archon, so I come in with my Shadow Gengar, gonna shield up the Drill Peck that would easily one-shot us. We make it to a Shadow Ball. This is double resisted, but Shadow Ball is still going to take out the Dodrio, and I'm able to take that game. But props to that opponent, that was actually a spicier team than the one I was running. But into the next spinning of the wheel, and we're going to see Shadow Ghastly, so another new Shadow Pokemon in this battle. The next Pokemon is going to be Shadow Cacturn. Not a very good Pokemon there, and the final Pokemon for the second team is going to be Shadow Hitmonlee. So let's see how that battle does pan out here. We're going to lead with the Shadow Ghastly into Lopunny, so not a great lead matchup for us, but they are going to be running Double Kick as the fast move. And luckily for me, the opponent isn't throwing straight away. They allow me to make it to a Sludge Bomb. So I'm going to throw this, and then I will just let the Ghastly go down, and then I can align my Shadow Hitmonlee to this Lopunny, but we're going to let the move go through. Fire Punch actually doesn't take us out. Shadow Ghastly just tanked a neutral charge move there, which is insane. We're now going to shield this up. They have a ton of energy, and it is a Focus Blast. They then swap into a Vespiquen, I believe that was. We're going straight for the Fire Punch, or sorry, Blaze Kick. Same move really, it does the same damage, it's the same typing, but obviously Hitmonlee is going to be kicking instead of punching. But we are going to shield an X-Scissor bait, which is unfortunate. We make it to another Blaze Kick. We can spam them fairly quickly. Blaze Kick does big damage there. I thought about swapping and catching the move, but there's no point. It would fully one-shot the Cacturn there, as X-Scissor is double super effective. But we fully take them out there. We get the Double Kick farm down, and I don't even know what Pokemon came in there. I don't care. I'm just going for the close combat, and it was an XL Turtwig. We're able to nuke it with the close combat, and we didn't even need the Shadow Cacturn. But don't worry, I do believe we will be running that team again later in the video. I did run a few of these teams several times just because I felt like we didn't really get to showcase some of the Pokemon. But into the next spinning of the wheel, we've got Shadow Haunter, Shadow Rampardos, and Shadow Excadrill. So three new Shadow Pokemon, very classy Pokemon, and we see Haunter into Bunnery. So previous battle we see Lopunny, and in the next battle we are going to see its evolution. Kind of funny because, or pre-evolution, because we use Ghastly, and this time we're using the evolution in Shadow Haunter. Now I have no clue what charge move this is going to be. A shield, it is also a Fire Punch there, which we probably would have lived given that the Ghastly lived a Fire Punch from the Lopunny, but we swap at the same time as the opponent. They come in with Frillish. Unfortunately, they outpaced me. I'm just going to let the Ice Beam take out the Shadow Rampardos. Not great for the Rampardos, but we can come in fully Shadow Claw, farm down the Frillish, and we will come out with 2 Ice Punches loaded. Now, I do remember that the opponent does have a charge move loaded as well, so we won't be able to get off both if they throw straight away, but we do easily win CMP. We go for the Ice Punch, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and at this point, I'm going to put it all on my Shadow Excadrill. Fire Punch takes us out. I should be able to Mudshot farm them down, so the opponent swaps into a Ponyta, and we are running Scorching Sands instead of Drill Run, just because I found it very difficult to get Drill Run with my TMs, but it doesn't matter. We take out the Ponyta. Not sure why they didn't shield that, but we would have made it to another charge move anyways, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Chandelure, another new Pokemon, so keeping up the tradition of having a new Shadow Pokemon in every battle so far. Next Pokemon is going to be Breloom, and the third and final Pokemon for this team is going to be Shadow Magneton, so let's see how that battle goes. So we're going to lead Chandelure into a Alolan Shadow Dog trio. We are dealing massive damage, but they're dealing even more damage with the Mud Slap. They get the full farm down. We come in with Breloom, we get 1 counter, takes them out, and they come in with a Shadow Among Us running Astonish, which did get buffed this season, but the most ridiculous, well, minuscule buff that they could have given it, which basically means it doesn't make any difference. But here they're going to go for a Sludge Bomb, grabs my shield there. That would easily take us out. I kind of lost track of their energy there, so I'm going to shield again, and then I will be able to put them into range, where actually I can just go for a Seed Bomb here. So I'm going to go for the Seed Bomb. It's double resisted by the Poison and Grass typing, but it still takes out the Among Us, and the opponent comes in. I didn't see what it was. I saw it was a Dark and Flying type, and it's a shiny Shadow Murkrow in the back. We come in with the Magneton, and unfortunately we don't get the Volt Switch damage there on that third Volt Switch. Foul Play takes out the Magneton. Can we get the counter farm down? Yes, we can, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's, another very spicy team from the opponent, and into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Electivire as the first Pokemon. The next Pokemon is going to be Shadow Honchkrow, which is a very, one of my favourite Pokemon to use, although this season with the Sky Attack nerf, it is going to be a little bit worse. And the third Pokemon is going to be Zoroark. So we're actually battling up against Home Size Henry, but we pick up a great lead here up against Emolga. And he's going to swap into Greninja, so he is core broken by the Shadow Electivire. I mean, I don't really know what the opponents were expecting me to run here, but he clearly wasn't expecting to see a Shadow Electivire in the lead. Now, we're going to shield the first move here. They do go for the Night Slash. Honestly, Night Slash probably nearly one-shots us from this range, so I do shield it up. We go for the Ice Punch, grabbing the final shield from the opponent. Now, this is questionable, but I'm actually going to let the Electivire go down and go for a fully resisted Shadow Claw farm down up against the Greninja, and hopefully come out with a ton of loaded energy. So he goes for another Night Slash here, grabbing a shield, unfortunately baiting there. We could have easily lived that, but the opponent comes back in with their Emolga. We go for the Foul Play. It does big damage. We swap, we catch the move onto our Shadow Honchkrow, and it is going to be an Aerial Ace, which is slightly less energy than the Discharge, so it does make sense. We get the Snarl farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come in with a Shadow Rhydon as their final Pokemon. That is insane, and here we go for the Foul Play. I hope this does KO from this range, and it does take them out, but he banked a charge move onto the Greninja. Do we live a Night Slash? No, we don't, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to Home Slice Henry there. And into the next battle, we're going to see Attack Form Deoxys as the first Pokemon. So, pretty rough start here for this team. The next Pokemon is going to be the regular Darmanitan, which isn't that bad of a Pokemon here. And the final Pokemon is going to be Meanshao, which is also an absolutely awful Pokemon. We've got minimal hope with this team, but we lead into a Grovyle, which is actually a really good lead matchup for us. They're going to be running Bullet Seed, so we're dealing big damage and not taking that much damage in return. But unfortunately, the opponent comes in with a Sudowoodo. This is really bad for my entire team. We are unfortunately running Poison Jab on the Meanshao as well as the Attack Form Deoxys, because the other fast move that it does learn is like Low Kick or something like that, which is absolutely awful. But we're going to go for the Grass Knot, grabbing the final shield from the opponent, but they boost their attack. They can fully farm me down. It's not looking great here. We come in with the Darmanitan. We're going to go for the Rock Slide as soon as we get there, but the opponent, really good timing, throwing just one turn before we do get there, going for a Rock Slide, grabbing my final shield, and we go for the Rock Slide straight away, no messing around. I know they're close to another charge move, but they've got a Smackdown Rhyperior in the back, and that is absolutely going to obliterate the Attack Form Deoxys, and I do unfortunately lose that game, but GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to have our own Shadow Alolan Dug trio this time around, leading it, and the second Pokemon is going to be Shadow Sharpedo, which is another insanely glassy Pokemon, and the final Pokemon here is going to be Shadow Banette, which, if you saw the last video, you will have known that, unfortunately, even though Shadow Banette was on the roulette wheel, it actually didn't feature in the battles, so luckily you will get to see it in action this time around. The opponent safe swaps into a Shadow Pinsir. We stay in initially just because we were resisting the Fury Cutter damage. We swap into Shadow Banette. X-Scissor is resisted damage, but it nearly takes us out. Luckily, we can get the Shadow Claw farm down. And let's see, the opponent comes back in with the Arcanine. We do leave with a Shadow Ball loaded, so we're going to grab a shield from the opponent as they do Snarl farm us down. Now, both Pokemon are really good up against the Arcanine. We're going to come in with the Sharpedo just because I think I could farm them down before they make it to a Wild Charge, but unfortunately, that's not the case. So I do shield. It is the Wild Charge, and unfortunately for the opponent, they've got a Shadow Hypno in the back. So we go for the Poison Fang. They do correctly no shield that, knowing that we weren't at the crunch yet, but it doesn't matter. We come in with the Alolan Dug trio. We go for the Mudslap farm down. They go for a charge move. Doesn't really matter. We go for a Waterfall, taking out the Hypno, and we take that game. And they were running a triple shiny Shadow theme team, which was very cool to see. But into the next battle, we're going to see Pheromosa as the first Pokemon. Last time around, I think Pheromosa was used purely as a third shield, which was not ideal. Excuse that voice crack, that was awful. But the next Pokemon is going to be Regieleki, and the third and final Pokemon is going to be Shadow Absol, kind of the MVP of the previous video. But let's see how this goes. We lead into a Jumpluff, so not the best lead matchup, especially if they are running Aerial-Ace, and then they will just severely outpace us. But they go for a charge move just before we make it to a lunge, so I'm going to shield this up. They go for Energy Ball, which is a bait, and the fact that they go for Energy Ball means they are going to be running Acrobatics as the other charge move. We do land the lunge, that does big damage, but they swap into Galarian Moltres. That one wing attack nearly one-shot us from that range here. We're going to come in, shield up the payback correctly, which is really nice because we can go for a full Volt Switch farm down, and I didn't see what that was. I can see now it is a Licky. We go for the Zap Cannon. It nearly one-shots them from full health. We take them out there, and I will be able to fully Volt Switch, farm them down with my Regieleki, and I'm able to take that game without even using the Shadow Absol. But that is once again another team that I will be running again later in the video, just because the Absol didn't see any play there. But into the next team, we see Galarian Darmanitan, Haxorus as the second Pokemon, and the final Pokemon for this team is going to be Shadow Kadabra, a Pokemon that I did build for the previous video, but I forgot to include it in the roulette wheel. So here we're going up against another fellow content creator, Nerds Rising. Awful lead as we see Heracross here, so we're going to come in with the Haxorus, go for the Breaking Swipe straight away. This will be debuffing their attack. Probably won't grab a shield. It actually does grab the shield there, and we are going to probably shield this up. I'm thinking with the debuff we might make it to another charge move in time, but he swaps into a Quillfish, Hisuian Quillfish. We go for another Breaking Swipe, and he can just let this move go through. We're now obviously going to come back in with the Darmanitan here. I might be able to live this move since I did debuff them. Shadow Ball is non-stab, and we do barely live it, but they come straight in with the Heracross. Doesn't matter though, as they're going straight out as we come in with the Confusion Shadow Kadabra. And this is kind of ironic here, as Nerds Rising actually used a Shadow Kadabra in a YouTuber Battle of Spice, and now we're beating him with the Confusion damage up against the Zapdos, and I'm able to take that game. So into the final team here, pretty obvious what team we're going to get, but we're just seeing what order we're going to use them in. We go for Shadow Alakazam in the lead. The next Pokemon is going to be Kartana, and the final Pokemon here, I mean, I think you can probably guess it already, is going to be the Shadow Sneasler, the final new Shadow Pokemon that was released with the new Team Rocket event. But here we're going into a Yanmega. This is absolutely awful for the entire team, and we are going to go for the Fire Punch here. The opponent does overfarm. I mean, obviously, after a few more wing attacks, and Aerial-Ace probably does take him out, but they swap into Shadow Golurk. We come in with the Kartana. We fully farm them down straight away, and we're going to shield this up just because I do have some energy. I think I might make it to a Night Slash in time, and we get there on the CMP tie, which is perfect for me. This should be forcing a shield from the opponent, the final shield from the opponent. It's still not looking too good for us, though. We're going to have to let the Aerial-Ace go through. Come in with my Sneasler. I'm not sure if Alakazam makes it to another charge move, but we do make it to the Aerial-Ace, winning the CMP tie. Aerial-Ace will be taking out the Yanmega, and they've got a Huntail in the back. I've literally never seen this in battle, but it doesn't matter. We commit to the close combat, and close combat one-shots the Huntail, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent, and now just into the bonus battles here, leading with Pheromosa once again. We are going to see Shadow, Shiny, Hypno in the lead. We're going to swap straight away, and unfortunately the opponent responds with the Shadow Scissor. We do make it to a Thunder. This would easily one-shot a Shadow Scissor, so the opponent does correctly shield that up. They go for a massive farm down, not ideal for me whatsoever, so we are going to wait out the switch clock here and then come in with my Regieleki, go for the full Volt Switch farm down, probably going to have to double shield though, and they go for a Trailblaze. So they boost their attack there and they make it to another charge move. So I'm definitely going to have to double shield and just hope that the opponent, for whatever reason, no shields my charge move as I come out here with a ton of energy. They come back in with the Hypno. We go straight for the Zap Cannon and we one-shot the shiny Shadow Hypno, but they've got a Shadow Beedrill in the back. They fully Poison Jab, farm down the Pheromosa, and they will be able to make it to another charge move up against the Regieleki. X-Scissor takes us out and we do unfortunately lose that game. So into the next game, and the reason that I run this team several times is because the first few times were actually against repeat battlers, so I'd already battled them. I wanted a new battle against a new opponent, so here we are going to go for a Mega Horn into the Galarian Ponyta. Funny that we've seen two Galarian Ponyta and both of them have been one-shot here by a charge move as we take them out with the Mega Horn. They come back in with the Sunflora, and this is looking pretty good for us here, and this is actually a battle where Pheromosa might actually be able to put in some work here. So the opponent does overfarm a little bit. They go for a charge move, and I will let the Absol go down. Sludge Bomb easily takes us out. They come in with a Vespiquen, and we've got the Regieleki to hard punish them. I'm going to let the first move go through as the opponent goes for a Fell Stinger, boosting their attack, but it doesn't really matter. I should be able to live another one, and I'm going to try and commit to the full Volt Switch farm down. I might not be able to get it in time, and actually they're already at another charge move. Vespiquen, incredibly spammy. Fell Stinger takes us out, but I put them into range where I can resist it, Bug Bite, farm them down, come in here, and I'm able to Bug Bite, farm down the Sunflora, and I'm able to take that game. So into another battle up against Nerds Rising, we lead into a Chandelure, so a pretty good matchup for us. He does eventually swap into Gabite, and we can completely core break his team, going for the Ice Punch. Ice Punch will be grabbing the first shield from the opponent. Now they will make it to a charge move. I'm going to shield this up as I will easily make it to another Ice Punch, but I'm in quite a lot of trouble if they do double shield the Gabite here. So we go for Ice Punch number 2. And the opponent does let it go through, which is actually quite nice for us. We are going to see that the opponent is going to wait out the switch clock, come back in with the Chandelure. They do get the Incinerate farm down, but one Smackdown farms down the Chandelure. They come in with their Garchomp. I'm hoping I can make it to a Rock Slide, and I do. And I'm going to bank that as well because I know Rampardos is easily going to win CMP, even up against a Garchomp. And here, I don't know if I was going to make it to the Scorching Sands. Rock Slide probably takes them out from this range anyways, but we grab the final shield here, and all we have to do is make sure we don't lag up against the Garchomp. And we don't. We make it to the Rock Slide. It is resisted damage, but come on, it's a Shadow Rampardos. It obviously takes out the Garchomp, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next battle, we see Pupitar in the lead, and this is awful. I know they're going to be running Bite, so I swap into my Medshout, and they've got a Confusion Soul Rock in the back. Are you kidding me? We're going to go for the Grass Stomp. I need them to no shield this, but they do shield, and this is just so bad for me. We're going to come in with the Attack Form Deoxys here, as I do resist the Confusion damage, although you wouldn't know it based on the damage we just took there. Rock Slide is going to grab my shield. I'm going to go for the Psycho Boost straight away. I don't expect them to shield here, so Psycho Boost will be taking out the Soul Rock. They come in, bite farm me down with the Pupitar. We come in with Darmanitan, and the opponent is going to swap into their own Galarian Darmanitan, so it's Battle of the Darmanitans, and unfortunately it's a simultaneous KO. And we do lose that game. But into the next battle, and this opponent clearly didn't understand the assignment here as they come in with Azumarill, probably the least spicy Pokemon you can run, although they do make a very nice catch onto their Gligar. And that's not ideal because obviously if I overfarmed there, I could have just gone straight Ice Punch, and Ice Punch would nearly one-shot them. Or maybe it would even one-shot them, I don't know. Shadow Electivire, obviously very glassy, very attack-weighted as it does make it into this video. Here, we actually don't live an Aerial Ace. I know we were double debuff, but that's still quite pathetic from the Shadow Electivire. But we're going to overfarm in this matchup. The opponent also throwing really good timing there. And we're going to continue to overfarm just by one Snarl as they would be able to make it to another Aerial Ace. We take out the Gligar there, and the opponent comes back in with the Azu. They overfarm too much, allow me to make it to a Brave Bird in time, and Brave Bird nearly takes out the Azumarill. Not quite enough damage there, but they are easily in farm down range. So we come in with the Zoroark and the opponent, Zoroark, and we're going straight for Sludge Bomb. This is super effective. Sludge Bomb, even though it's non-stab, does big damage up against a very bulky Jumpluff. We can shield this up. The opponent goes for an Aerial Ace bait, but I'm able to Shadow Claw, farm down the Jumpluff, Shadow Claw, farm down the Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. And into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Ghastly once again here into Ribombee, which is a very cool pick here. Tiny Pokemon as well. We are going to shield this up as I will be able to fully lick farm them down, and I don't know what's up with my voice cracks at the moment. What is going on? The opponent swaps into a Razor Leaf Pokemon. I didn't see what it was. It's actually a shiny Vileplume, so very interesting shiny to use here. We're going to go for a Dynamic Punch. This will be resisted damage, but Dynamic Punch will be taking out the Vileplume, and the opponent has a Girder in the back. I don't even know what the fast move is there. It might be Poison Jab. Let's see, we come in with the Ghastly, and we are taking resisted damage. I think this is a Brick Break, so I let it go through. That's triple resisted. Ghastly actually hangs on and makes it to an Ominous Wind. That was insane. Ominous Wind grabs the final shield. We come in with our Shadow Hitmonlee, and I'm going to shield this up. We should be able to live a Brick Break, but honestly, I'm going to shield it up anyways. We're going to overfarm as much as I think I can, go for a Blaze Kick, and this will be taking out the Ribombee, and we're just one away from another Blaze Kick, and we can go for it straight away into the Girder, taking out the Girder, and I'm able to take that game. And into, I believe, the final battle here, we're going to lead into a Darmanitan. So we've got the Archon, the first team that we did use. The opponent save swaps into a Perugly, and this is really bad for my backline, so I'm going to have to stay in here as they are running Shadow Claw as the fast move. And once again, unfortunately, Crunch barely doesn't take them out, and they do make it to a charge move this time. Thunder would have easily one-shot us, so I do use my shield. They come back in with the Darmanitan, which is very interesting, but the fact they're coming in here means that they're probably quite weak to the Archon in the back. They also choose to no-shield that, which is quite crazy. But we do make it to another Dragon Claw throwing on the CMP tie, and the opponent has a Genesect in the back. Unfortunately, we don't make it to the charge move. We come in with a Gengar. I'm going to choose to swap and catch the move onto my Shadow Mewtwo here, and the opponent is going to fully undercharge their Techno Blast, go for the Fury Cutter farm down, but I do make it to a Side Strike here. And what I didn't realize at the time was that actually this is going to be a normal Techno Blast, because that's the only drive you're able to have in the Great League, so that would have been double resisted by the Gengar, but I'm able to Shadow Claw, farm down the opponent, and take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and also let me know if you want to see more content like this in the future, where I battle up against my subscribers. And if you do want to see more content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, and that way you might actually be involved in a video like this in the future. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.